The general theme is how does it feel to be a hypocrite?
Right. Well, he sounds like a royal dirtbag.
I was wrong about something.
Magnificent! Magnificent! Magnificent!
If we can be with ourselves, if we can understand ourselves, we can love.
It's not my fault nobody can understand what you're saying.
Let's go while we're young.
3, 2, 1. Just introduce yourself and tell me what you ate for breakfast.
All right, we're going to try this again. I know that people, I'm sure, will have to duck out. Do we have sound? Can I get a text again, please? Everything has been showing that I have sound on my end. I don't know if we have it yet. Could I get a verification, please? Yes, we have sound. All right, good. Thank you so much. Well, let's start over. Good morning. Matt here, Morning Hair. It's so odd that when you have everything's green, right? Like green is good. And then you have it where it's just then gone. I don't get it. Literally everything is testing out to be 100% okay. Upload speeds are great. Download speeds are great. Batteries are good on the mic here. Camera's green. I mean, everything says it was working. So I just don't know. But anyway, we are at 6 crucial skills to master. And we talked about 1 and 2 yesterday. 1 being forgiveness, excuse me, 1 being consistency, 2 being forgiveness are the first 2 skills to master. Today, we're going to talk about number 3, self-discipline, and then number 4, mindfulness. And then tomorrow, Lord willing, we're going to talk about number 5, gratitude, and number 6, emotional regulation. So let's get into it since we're so late. And I know that people have to get to work and stuff here. So let's get into self-discipline. I'm going to abridge this a little bit. I'll take out a few things here, but so self-discipline, let's go with just this particular foundational thing with self-discipline. Minimize, mitigate, and remove temptations. Basically take charge, take control, take action of your environment. Let me give you an example. Self-discipline for me looks like not very often having ice cream in the house, right? If I have ice cream in the house, then, well, it's going to just be eaten, and then I have to get more and I have to get more. That's something that I do for self-discipline. Another thing that I do for self-discipline is let me skip that one and I'll go right to video games. I don't play video games because I'm extremely competitive, and I would just play and play and play and play and play. And that's why I don't play at all. Whether that's good, bad, or in between, that's just what I need to do for self-discipline. So, really take charge of that self-discipline. Let's continue on here to be for self-discipline. This is once you can really take wow, can't talk now. Minimize, mitigate, and remove temptations. You have to go next to stop playing the victim card. I don't care what it is. I don't care anything like, we all are a victim of something, right? Don't blame others for your circumstances, especially when they're decisions that you make over and over again. You cannot play the victim card. That is huge for self-discipline, period. I will not discuss that with anyone, with the exception of maybe making up some different ways to stop doing that. But you must stop playing the victim card for having self-discipline. And then C, practice self-awareness. That's a really tough one because, there's often times that I say I'm self-aware, I know how I am, and all those kinds of things. And sometimes I think I do, and other times I know that I'm really out of touch with kind of being self-aware of things. So what I do is I do journaling. Now, there's many ways to do journaling, and I have conversations with people all the time. They say, it's too hard to do journaling. Well, let me tell you, there are tons of apps to do it. I have an Apple phone, and so I use their notes section. I take tons of notes. That's journaling. So don't use that as an excuse. You got to keep track of those things so that if you keep track of those things, you can measure your triggers, that you can be self-aware of where you're at. You can measure them, and then you can bounce back quicker when you recognize them. And then not only can you bounce back quicker, when someone or something triggers you, that will bounce back off of you and onto them. And that basically just shows that they're trying to, or something is trying to trigger you or whatever. So get that, that way you can line that up with logic and facts. And this last one for self-discipline, I'm not going to give you all of mine, but create 7 daily routines for self-discipline. What I do is, and what I want you to do is to pick 5 that bring you joy. 5 daily routines that bring you joy. 2 of them out of the 7, they need to be things that you would normally procrastinate. So as an example, something that you could do that you might procrastinate, like I procrastinate on a lot of things, but here's an example. Maybe exercise is something that you procrastinate. Those are one of the 2 things that you have to do in that daily routine. Maybe one of the things is that you don't pack a lunch, or you don't plan ahead for your lunch or whatever, and therefore you spend too much money and you eat something you shouldn't have for lunch. So 7 daily routines, 5 that bring you joy, and 2 out of the 7 that you would normally procrastinate. Mindfulness. So practice for mindfulness, there's a whole lot of things that you could do and talk about for this, but practice daily positive reading. There's something about reading that sets kind of the tones in our mind for the day. I think you should do it in the morning personally. And when we set that tone in our mind, you can't exchange that for anything else. There's no audio, there's no visual or anything that you can exchange that with the power that reading has. There's just something extremely powerful about that. And when you read something that's positive and you reinforce it with something that's, positive and uplifting, that is just it's an unstoppable experience, I'll say, that you just need to have to create that mindfulness. It sets our minds up for the daily battles that we have, and we all have daily battles, right? We just simply do. And so what I choose to do is read scripture, generally New Testament, and or Proverbs, but generally New Testament stuff. And I'm going to leave mindfulness at B. Stay present. There's a lot of distractions. Do everything in your mind's power to stay focused on where you're at, what you're doing, who's there with you. It doesn't matter what you're doing, if you're eating or if you're talking, if you're emailing, you're texting, you're walking. Focus on what's happening in that moment, right? Focus on the smells, focus on the feeling, focus on the temperature, the wind, all those things. Just stay present in where you're at. And it's a very powerful tool for mindfulness. Once part of that staying present, once you've convinced yourself, or let me say it like this. Most people think that they can multitask. There's a ton of research, tons and tons of research that shows that we can't multitask. So once you've convinced yourself that you can't multitask, you can stay present. Just be right in that moment and not think about something else, but just stay focused on that. So we're going to leave it there. We're going to see what we have for, we had a lot of people duck out. Sorry about that. Got a couple messages here. I see some more text, but congratulations, Amy. So we'll get you a t-shirt. Hey, make sure too, if you've won, shinybrandgifts@gmail.com with your choice and your size, by the way. So I know that we talked about that. So today set the pace up with the problems that we had with audio, but when you can stay present and stay focused, you just move on to fixing it. Hopefully I fixed it fast enough, but otherwise we just do the best that we can here, don't we, on Morning Hair, and that's what it's about. So we will see you tomorrow morning for number 5, gratitude, and number 6, emotional regulation. Have a great day.
You know what I just saw?
Who is this guy?
I call myself Podcast because of my podcast.
I have exorcised the demons. This house is clear.
So it's done.
It's done.